Hey, namaste, I'm Kay, this is Ecstatic Self. Today I want to break down gender a little bit, especially as it's related to in spiritual communities. So one of the things that I see happening, which you would think would be the opposite, but you see these quote-unquote spiritual communities who have become very rigid around gender. They say masculine energy is this, and feminine energy is this, and all you women are goddesses, and all you men are gods. And let's connect with that primordial energy that is sacred to each of us, that is our specific gender. No. Men, you can connect with goddess energy, and we all hold goddess energy within us. Women, you can connect with masculine male god energy and hold it within you. We all have each within. So I don't understand this need to separate genders in the neo-tantric community, bullshit, y'all. And then just for lay people, let's talk a little bit about gender, because a lot of people, if you don't know, and you're about to know, conflate sex with gender. And this is the arguments going on that just got recently passed down with the Supreme Court, it's impossible to discuss sexuality without discussing sex and gender. So sex is more biological anatomy. Penises and vaginas, breasts, non-breasts, XY chromosomes, XX chromosomes, XXX chromosomes, XXXY chromosomes. There's a lot of variations on sex. You can have one sex, you can have both sex, you can be intersex. There's not just one or the other. It's a spectrum. It's a salad buffet of sexual expressions, if you will. And the number of people who are actually born intersex is actually very, very high. It's much higher than you would think it was. I have the statistic in my book. I think it's something like 1.5% have non-typical sexual expression, and that's not counting the people who have atypical chromosomal expression and don't even know it, because most of us aren't genetic tested for it. So it's much more common than you would think. Then we have gender. Now, for a cisgendered person, their gender matches their sexual assignment at birth. You have a penis, therefore your gender is male. You have a vagina, your gender is female. But they don't necessarily have to correlate, and again, they are spectrums. And we actually have a difference between gender identification and gender presentation. So let's start with the first. Gender identification is, what gender do I feel like, if any? Do I feel more male? Do I feel more female? So for myself, I am very happy with looking like a dude. I love my penis, I love my balls, I love having muscles, and I would love all of them to be bigger. I would like to look even more hypermasculine. But in my mind, I also recognize the fact that, hey, I love reading books with female protagonists or watching films with female protagonists, and a lot of my favorite singers tend to be bisexual women, like Ingrid Michaelson, Sarah Bareilles, Taylor Swift. She's secretly bi, she drops lots of hints. So for myself, I say, well, yeah, I'm comfortable being a guy and looking like a guy, and I'm comfortable with my male sex, but sometimes my gender identification skews a little bit more towards the middle. I'm very okay identifying with female points of view. And for a long time, all of my friends were women. So even though I'm comfortable with my presentation and sex being masculine and male, my gender identification is a little more fluid. Now, conversely, you might have somebody who identifies very much as being male, but their expression could be somewhere else in the spectrum. So that means maybe they like wearing women's clothing even though they identify as a guy, or have more feminine personality traits where they love wearing makeup or carrying a handbag, or presenting female, or presenting as gender neutral, gender non-conforming, or flowing between the two. That's how the outward world sees them. So in my presentation, very masculine, but my gender identity more fluid. So those things can match your sexual orientation. They can be a mishmash. They can change over time. And that's not even talking about sexuality, because that's not even talking about, am I attracted to people who are the same sex as myself or the same gender, or do I like different sexual expressions or different genders, or who am I attracted to? Do I like one person? Do I like lots of people? I don't know. It's all confusing. It's basically a salad. It's a big tossed, messed up thing with all these different spectrums. And so it's not as easy as it looks to just say, oh, this is masculine energy. This is feminine energy. We're going to cultivate the goddess energy in you women. Like it's bullshit. So what I'm saying is whatever you feel is good. However you want to express yourself is fine. If you feel like you're all of those things, beautiful. I love that. And this is the reason why so many people nowadays are introducing themselves or putting in their email signatures their preferred pronouns. Because just because I look like a dude and wear men's clothing and have a big dick does not mean that I necessarily want to be referred to as he. I do, but maybe someday I won't. Maybe I'd rather have they as my pronouns. Don't know. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because you can still be a masculine presenting man and be gender fluid in your identity. And whoever you want to be and how you identify is cool. And the thing is, it's probably going to evolve over time, because all of us, as we cultivate deeper understanding of ourselves, as we have different interactions, things shift. We uncover new things we didn't know about ourselves. We uncover different things that we weren't sure about or understand before. Or we have an experience that changes our point of view. It's okay. We're complex, and it's beautiful in that complexity. So don't try to limit yourself, and don't try to ascribe one type of energy as being purely for men and one for women. Everything is beautiful, and everything can be held by anybody who's interested. Like, I am a huge worshiper of the goddess. Like, she's probably my closest spiritual connection. But I also love Shiva. I also do a lot of male practices as well. So I hope this helps. Again, I am not an expert on these things. I am just doing the best I can. There are people who have much more articulate breakdowns of how gender and sex and sexuality are separate and can be viewed. This is a postmodern view of those things, so take it for what it's worth. There are definitely people who have different advantages and say there are no spectrums, you know, it's more like an XY graph, or we just blow everything up. So anyhow, I'm rambling now. Be okay with where you are, and maybe this is the beginning of a longer conversation. MK. Namaste.